What is going on, guys? I am Jaye the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Welcome to another edition of one of these Jaye the Black blogcasts, where I speak on different topics in a red pill perspective. Okay. Now I want to talk about this Tahiry situation, man. Now I actually did a video about Tahiri and Vado when they first went viral for her calling him broke, because both of them are part of a reality TV show called Couples Therapy. And honestly, the only person in this situation that needs therapy is Tahiri, but we're gonna get into that. So make sure y'all like this video also, and hopefully you're sharing it as well. Okay, I'm actually gonna put a link to the first video I did about Tahiri and Vado. Okay, because I'm probably going to speak on the same talking points as that particular video. I think that video is very relevant to the information that I'm going to speak on here. Okay? Because this is definitely toxic relationships 101. Okay? Now, 2 weeks ago, I talked about how she called him out for being broke. I recently saw the video clip of her getting into it with him and calling him broke in front of everybody. Okay? Then I see the incident where she threw the apple at him, hit him right in the face. And then the incident where he got up and wrapped his hands around her neck. Now, I want people to understand me and understand me very clearly. I do not condone violence towards anybody. Okay? Because there were a lot of people, especially a lot of women, vilifying Vado. Now, if you were asked these people a couple weeks ago, do you know who Vado is? They would not know who Vado is. They know who he is now. He's the guy who's taking up, he's taking a lot of BS from Tahiri, because he's with her because, let's be real, he's with her out of lust. I don't think there's love there. I think she's with Vado because nobody else is really checking for her like that as far as a relationship is concerned. And Vado is willing to put up with her. That's why I tell a lot of you guys, man, don't under any circumstances deal with a woman just because of how she looks, just because she has big assets, like a lot of guys tend to do, man. There are guys out there that are willing to put up with anything in order to sleep with the woman. And when I look at the series of events that went on about him putting his hands around her neck, you got to understand that there were things that led up to it. Vado was taking a lot of verbal jabs from her. He had an apple thrown in his face. And then when they got to the whole couples grouping on the show, he lost it. He lost it. Now, again, for the people who may not have heard me the first time, I don't condone doing that. I think that you can never put yourself in a situation where you resort to doing this, especially when you are older. Now, if you're younger, you a guy in your late teens, early 20s, and you're dating these young chicks that don't know much, who are very toxic, who have energy to you utilize against you, as far as, turning up on you, getting in your face, putting their hands on you, and you're in those situations. You don't know much. You yourself don't know anything, and you will put up with it because you think that's how a relationship is supposed to be. But when you get to a certain point in your life, you want peace. You should want peace, not to have to go back and forth with somebody that you claim to be in a relationship with. Because I don't really think this is a relationship. I think they're together for the show because Tahiri wants the publicity. He wants the publicity. He wants to check whatever comes with being on the show. Because there were other couples on the show that have been on reality TV before. Some of them I recognize before from other shows. So they're there, because they want to get paid, whatever, right? But if you have to put up with this, is it really worth it? Because you have Tahiri, who clearly has issues, okay? She has unresolved issues with men. that she needs to resolve. I think there's a lot of women in today's climate that have a lot of issues with men that they have never been able to solve, that they need to solve. Because if they don't solve it, they're going to put themselves in these type of situations where they have to be in these toxic relationships because they have not gotten their issues taken care of. And I think a lot of men need to boycott these dysfunctional efforts and stay away from them, because they will drive you to do what Vado did. Now, this situation reminds me a little bit of a video I did on my Basic Social Politics with Jaye the Black channel. Hopefully you're subscribed to it. I made a video some months back about a guy. He's from the continent of Africa. He moved to Canada, right? Now, he was married and had 3 kids with this woman. He wanted to move them to Canada too, but immigration wanted him to retake a DNA test for all 3 of his kids. The guy ended up finding out that he wasn't the father of any of them, right? So what ends up happening is he ends up, just pounding the crap out of his wife, knocking her front teeth out, just, put a whooping on her, okay? Because he found out none of them were his, which means that throughout the marriage, she's been sleeping with somebody else. Now, it may have been the same person because a lot of times when you're with a woman and you have kids with her, they may look more like one parent than the other. And that could have been the case in this situation. Maybe they favored her more than him, and he was like, oh, okay. But meanwhile, she's out here married to him and dealing with another guy or the guys. I think it was a situation where she was dealing with the same guy. She was dealing with this guy while she was married. Because y'all know there are a lot of married women out here who deal with other men, especially in 2020. Okay? Monogamy really doesn't exist in marriages anymore, hardly. If it is, it's probably marriages that have been going on for a long time. But a lot of these newer marriages, people been married the last 10, 15 years, I don't think monogamy really matters anymore. And the women are out here in these streets just as much, if not more, than men are. And this situation kind of reminds me a bit of it with Vado. I mean, he didn't do that, but he got fed up and he felt like he was driven to the situation. And also, I don't agree with what that guy did, but I understand getting angry and frustrated. Vado got angry and frustrated. He could have walked away from the situation, which is what I would have done. I don't care how good you look. You're over 40 and you've been single for a long time. No man has taken you seriously since Joe Budden. But the 2 correlations of the stories with the guy, the African guy, was that I don't agree with what that guy did, but I understand people get frustrated and angry and they react. Nobody can control how a person reacts to a situation. I don't agree with it, but when you look at the situation, I understand them getting upset, getting frustrated. And with Vado, he's putting himself through this just to be on a show that she probably brought him on. I don't think it was his idea, it was hers. Because she's one of these women who need reality TV more than anything. She's on OnlyFans. She's not doing nothing right now. She needs this. Maybe he needs it too, but I would never put myself in a situation where I need anything, especially getting on reality TV where I'm going to be made a fool out of. She embarrassed this guy. She humiliated him in front of everybody. And when he did put his hands around her neck, look at her facial expression. She was not fazed at all. And there were more people angry for her than she was for herself. Now, she did get on social media and try to make it seem like, oh, this is not okay. Y'all got to understand, they filmed this months ago, if I'm not mistaken. They filmed this show months ago, right? But now you're getting on social media and you are saying, hey, this wasn't good, oh my God. She did not know the clip was gonna get out. Come on, man. I'm pretty sure they saw the show before we did. Maybe they didn't. Maybe VH1 said they were gonna take that out of it. But you've known about this for a while, and you still was dating this guy. Now, I don't think they were really in a relationship. I think a lot of women like Tahiry are in situationships. They're just dealing with one person right now. They're sleeping with them. They're not really going on dates. They're not really claiming the other person. It's just so they don't be lonely. It's a situationship. It's not necessarily a relationship. And she's getting on social media saying this wasn't scripted. How do we know this wasn't scripted? Everything else on VH1 seems scripted. Or not, well, it's not VH1, this is WeTV, but everything else on WeTV is scripted. Everything else on VH1 or some of these other networks, the other stuff seems scripted. How do we know this wasn't scripted? And your facial expression, you wasn't phased at all. You're used to this. You got women like Tahiry that are used to this. They're used to being in these type of relationships where it's toxic energy going back and forth. She was completely unbothered by what happened. She was unbothered because she likes this. There are women out here, whether y'all want to believe it or not, they enjoy getting into physical altercations with their significant other. And yes, women. Why do you think women make it clear they don't want a quote unquote weak man? Why is it that you're constantly having to call the police on your spouse? Why is it that you're constantly putting hands on your boyfriend? I told y'all, women are not afraid of men anymore. This whole narrative that women are just afraid of men and oh my God, they're intimidating. Come on, man. Women have no fear of us as men whatsoever. None. This is why women can throw apples at your face. This is why women can hop in front of your face and like you ain't gonna do nothing. Because they have no fear whatsoever of repercussions from us. Now they will try to flip the script on us if they do what Vado did. Now all of a sudden they want to talk about how bad we are. They have such an issue with toxic masculinity. What about toxic femininity? What about the fact this woman is getting in this guy's face multiple times, throwing stuff at him, probably putting her hands on it. We don't even know what has gone on behind the scenes. But it's so easy to vilify the guy in a situation because it's easy to vilify the men. The men are the problem. No, we have to be the ones to undergo therapy. We the ones who have to apologize and bend the knee. What about these women who are getting in these guys' faces? What about these women who can't keep their hands to themselves? What about that? But we want to constantly police the actions of men because we need somebody to blame, because we're not going to blame ourselves. We're not going to say, hey, us as women, we have to fix our own issues. No, we want to put everything off on the men because somebody has to get blamed and it ain't going to be us. That's why Tahiry is single. She's single because for the most part, there are a lot of guys that aren't going to put up with her. And if they put up with her, it's going to be for a short amount of time. They're going to smash a few times and then they're going to be out. The problem with Vado is that I think he's really falling for her. He's hoping for something that's never going to be. That's why she clowns him for the fact that he's quote unquote broke. Which is, listen, if a woman is critiquing you on your financial situation, trust and believe, bro, she's talking to other men with more money than you. They just don't have to put up with her. You putting up with her. They don't have to put up with her. And that's what a lot of men have to understand. There's a lot of low self-esteem going on out here. The low self-esteem, I truly believe, is affecting men more than ever. And they put up with these situations because they're happy to be with that woman. You should never feel happy to be with nobody. There's an abundance of women out here. There are women who is a lot more attractive than Tahiry, bigger assets than Tahiry, that you can deal with. You don't have to put up with that. Now, maybe she's different off camera than she is on camera, but I doubt it. That's why, no one takes her seriously when it comes to relationships. They deal with her for a little while and then they get out of Dodge. I think Vado needs to understand that before he gets himself in a whole lot more problems than he's in now. Now, he did apologize for what he did, but the best thing Vado can do is not deal with this particular female ever again, because he's only going to get himself caught up worse and worse.